Today we're diving into a topic that's super relevant in our tech-driven world: digital burnout. It's something that affects a lot more of us than we might realize, especially with how integrated our devices have become in literally every aspect of our lives. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we're connected, we're online, we're consuming. And while tech brings incredible benefits, there's a flip side, a point where it becomes too much. We're constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, messages, and the endless scroll of social media. This non-stop digital engagement can take a toll, leading to what many are now calling digital burnout. It's that feeling of being overwhelmed, exhausted, and just plain tired of screens. But how do you know if you're just having a busy week or if you're genuinely on the verge of burnout? That's what we're here to explore. It's not always obvious, and the signs can be subtle at first. So in this video, we're going to break down 5 key indicators that suggest you might seriously need a digital detox. Think of this as a sort of diagnostic, a way to check in with yourself and see if your relationship with technology needs a bit of a reset. We'll go through each sign, what it looks like, and why it's happening. Understanding these signs is the first step towards finding a healthier balance. Let's talk about the 5 signs you need a digital detox. All right, so the first big sign, and it's a really common one, is a noticeable increase in anxiety. This isn't just your everyday stress. It's an anxiety that feels directly linked to your digital life. Think about that little ping or buzz from your phone. For some, it's exciting, but when you're nearing burnout, each notification can feel like another demand, another interruption, another thing you have to deal with right now. It's a constant state of low-grade alert. This anxiety often stems from the sheer volume of information and communication we're expected to process. Emails piling up, group chats that never sleep, news alerts breaking every few minutes. It's a relentless stream. Your brain is constantly trying to keep up, to filter, to respond. And when it can't, or when it feels like it's falling behind, that's when the anxiety really starts to build. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Eventually, you just get overwhelmed. Then there's the infamous FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media platforms are designed to make you feel like you need to be constantly checking in. Otherwise, you'll miss something important, something fun, something everyone else is talking about. This can create a compulsive need to refresh feeds, to stay updated, even when it's actively making you feel anxious or inadequate. It's a feedback loop that's hard to break. The pressure to be always on is another huge contributor. In many professional and social circles, there's an unspoken expectation of immediate responsiveness. If you don't reply to an email within the hour or a text within minutes, you might worry about how that's perceived. This keeps you tethered to your devices, constantly monitoring for incoming messages, which, you guessed it, fuels that anxiety. Consider also the nature of the content we consume. A lot of news can be negative or stressful, and social media can often be a highlight reel that leads to social comparison. Seeing curated, perfect-looking lives can make you feel like your own life isn't measuring up, which is a classic trigger for anxiety. It's a subtle erosion of self-esteem that happens one scroll at a time. This digital anxiety can manifest in physical ways too. You might notice a racing heart when you hear certain notification sounds or a general feeling of restlessness when you're away from your phone for too long. Alright, so the first big sign, and it's a really common one, is a noticeable increase in anxiety. This isn't just your everyday stress, it's an anxiety that feels directly linked to your digital life. Think about that little ping or buzz from your phone. For some, it's exciting, but when you're nearing burnout, each notification can feel like another demand, another interruption, another thing you have to deal with right now. It's a constant state of low-grade alert. This anxiety often stems from the sheer volume of information and communication we're expected to process. Emails piling up, group chats that never sleep, news alerts breaking every few minutes. It's a relentless stream. Your brain is constantly trying to keep up, to filter, to respond. And when it can't, or when it feels like it's falling behind, that's when the anxiety really starts to build. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Eventually, you just get overwhelmed. Then there's the infamous FOMO, fear of missing out. Social media platforms are designed to make you feel like you need to be constantly checking in. Otherwise, you'll miss something important, something fun, something everyone else is talking about. This can create a compulsive need to refresh feeds, to stay updated, even when it's actively making you feel anxious or inadequate. It's a feedback loop that's hard to break. The pressure to be always on is another huge contributor. In many professional and social circles, there's an unspoken expectation of immediate responsiveness. If you don't reply to an email within the hour or a text within minutes, you might worry about how that's perceived. This keeps you tethered to your devices, constantly monitoring for incoming messages. Next up, let's talk about fatigue. And I don't just mean feeling a bit tired at the end of the day. This is a deeper, more persistent exhaustion, both physical and mental, that doesn't seem to go away even with rest. Prolonged screen time is a major culprit here. Staring at bright screens for hours on end puts a significant strain on your eyes, leading to eye fatigue, headaches, and blurred vision. This physical strain isn't just limited to your eyes. Think about your posture when you're using your devices. Hours spent hunched over a laptop or craning your neck down at a phone can lead to muscle tension, neck pain, back pain, and even repetitive strain injuries. This chronic physical discomfort contributes to an overall feeling of being worn out and physically drained. But it's not just physical. The mental fatigue from constant digital engagement is huge. Your brain is working overtime to process information, switch between tasks, and stay alert to notifications. This cognitive load is incredibly taxing. It's like running a mental marathon every single day, and eventually your brain just gets tired. It's a depletion of your mental energy reserves. Think about the sheer number of micro decisions you make online every day. What to click, what to read, how to respond, what to ignore. Each one of these, while small on its own, adds up. Over time, this decision fatigue can leave you feeling mentally foggy, unmotivated, and just plain exhausted. It's the cognitive equivalent of death by 1,000 cuts. The always-on culture we talked about with anxiety also plays a massive role in fatigue. If you feel like you can never truly disconnect, your brain never gets a chance to fully rest and recover. Even when you're not actively working or engaging, the knowledge that you could be disturbed at any moment keeps you in a state of low-level alertness, which is incredibly draining over time. This mental fatigue can manifest as difficulty concentrating, forgetfulness, and a general lack of mental clarity. You might find yourself rereading the same sentence multiple times or struggling to follow a conversation. Alright, the third sign that you might be overdue for a digital detox is a significant loss of focus. This is a big one for me, and I think a lot of people experience it. We live in an age of multitasking, or at least of multitasking. We're constantly juggling multiple apps, tabs, conversations, and streams of information. Our devices are practically designed to encourage this. The thing is, our brains aren't really built for true multitasking, especially not the kind of rapid-fire task switching that our digital lives demand. What we're actually doing is quickly shifting our attention from one thing to another, and this constant switching comes at a cognitive cost. Each switch requires mental effort and can lead to errors and reduced efficiency. This constant context switching erodes our ability to engage in deep work, that state of focused concentration on a single, cognitively demanding task. If your attention is always being pulled in a dozen different directions by notifications and the lure of other apps, it becomes incredibly difficult to immerse yourself in complex problem-solving or creative thinking. Your focus becomes shallow and fragmented. You might find yourself starting a task, only to be distracted by an email pop-up, then a social media notification, then a news alert. Before you know it, an hour has passed, and you've made very little progress on what you originally set out to do. This isn't a lack of willpower. It's often a consequence of an environment that's actively working against sustained attention. This loss of focus can manifest as a shorter attention span in general. You might find it harder to read long articles or books, or even to watch a full-length movie without simultaneously scrolling through your phone. We're training our brains to expect constant novelty and quick hits of information, which makes it harder to appreciate or engage with more sustained, less immediately gratifying content. The infinite scroll design on many platforms is a perfect example of something that hijacks our attention. Alright, moving on to sign number 4, and this is a really critical one. Insomnia, or more broadly, significantly disrupted sleep patterns. The relationship between our digital devices and poor sleep is well documented. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, tricking your brain into thinking it's daytime. This disrupts your sleep-wake cycle, making it harder to fall asleep and reducing sleep quality. Even the content we consume can be stimulating, leaving your mind racing. Chronic sleep deprivation impairs cognitive function, mood, and overall health. And finally, the fifth sign that you might be in desperate need of a digital detox is a noticeable decrease in your overall productivity. This ties into several of the other signs we've discussed, like loss of focus and fatigue, but it manifests as a tangible drop in your ability to get things done, whether it's at work, school, or even on personal projects. Digital distractions are a primary driver of this productivity plunge. The constant barrage of notifications, the lure of social media, the ease with which you can switch from a work task to browsing the internet, these all fragment your attention and pull you away from what you should be doing. Each interruption, no matter how small, carries a switching cost as your brain disengages and then has to re-engage with the original task. This constant task switching, as we talked about with focus, makes deep work nearly impossible. And deep work is where real productivity happens, where complex problems are solved and valuable output is created. If you're only ever working in short, interrupted bursts, you're likely operating at a much lower level of efficiency and effectiveness. Your output quality suffers. The fatigue associated with digital burnout also directly impacts productivity. When you're mentally and physically exhausted, you simply don't have the energy or the cognitive resources to perform at your best. Tasks take longer, you're more prone to errors, and your motivation can plummet. It's hard to be productive when you're running on empty. Procrastination can also become a major issue. When you're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out, the path of least resistance is often to escape into the more passive, instantly gratifying world of digital entertainment or social media. That important report or challenging project gets pushed aside in favor of another hour of scrolling, which only adds to the stress and workload later. So, if you're experiencing any of these signs, the creeping anxiety, the persistent fatigue, the inability to focus, trouble sleeping, or a nosedive in productivity, it might be time to take a step back and give yourself a digital detox. Recognizing these signals is the first and honestly most important step. It's not about demonizing technology, it's about reevaluating our relationship with it and ensuring it serves us, not the other way around. A detox doesn't have to be extreme. Even small changes can make a big difference. Taking a break, setting boundaries, being more mindful about how and when you use your devices. These are all strategies that can help you reset and recharge. Think about what a healthier balance would look like for you. Maybe it's designated screen-free times, turning off certain notifications, or curating your digital consumption more carefully. The goal is to regain control and reduce the overwhelm so you can enjoy the benefits of technology without succumbing to its potential downsides. Ultimately, managing digital burnout is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. It's about building sustainable habits that support your well-being in this hyper-connected age. Hopefully, understanding these 5 signs gives you a clearer picture of where you stand and empowers you to make some positive changes. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tech insights. Catch you in the next one.